Welcome back to the channel. Today, we explore a prison story about people's struggles and hope against all odds, not just inmates. Enjoying afternoon tea after work is their dream. He hopes everyone can live normally, even for just a few minutes. Hey, wanna drink something cold? No, thanks. Oh, go ahead, drink up. Soon, roof repairs near completion, and they return to prison. The silent sisters approached him again. He spoke up, but things didn't go well. He tried to be brave, but got a full-on smackdown, soon controlled by his pals. No rescue coming. I'm about to unveil my chicken wings. Get ready to absorb whatever I serve up. Put anything in my mouth, and you'll lose it all. Yes, you'll get it. What you learn here is no piece of cake. Sudden brain disease leads to some serious coughing fits. Honestly, those coughs. They could wake the dead. They wanted to use a hook to lift the victim's mouth. Upon hearing that, the sisters got a bit nervous, but then they turned all angry and started kicking him. She kicked him into La La Land, and he ended up in the infirmary for an entire month. Not your average weekend bash. The eldest sister got a week in the hole for that, but when she strutted back to the cell, she found the captain waiting like a lion on the prowl. Reality hit her hard. There was no escape, and the next thing she knew, she was in for a solid beatdown. She was knocked out like a vegetable and shipped off to another prison for treatment. After that, the sisters didn't dare mess with her again. It was really all the warden's doing. She was eyeing the money man's banker status for future use. Since she helped the warden pull off a tax evasion scheme, she was quickly switched from laundry duty to the library, paired up with an old-time. Tis been there for 50 years. The library gig was surprisingly easy. Just check out books and keep track of them. Soon, others were knocking on her door for help, and she bravely started crafting plans for them to make prison life a bit more bearable. In less than a month, she had lined up half the inmates with tax returns and became the prison rock star. Even the warden was hitting her up for help. She was so busy with her booming business. Red would sometimes be called to help, asking the warden for funds to improve the library. But the warden said the budget was tight. No funds for library expansion, better ask the local council for some cash. So, with her permission, she decided to adopt a routine of writing weekly letters to the council requesting funds. But unfortunately, every letter just seemed to vanish into thin air without any response. But she wasn't about to give up easily. 6 years, she wrote. Then, something odd happened in the library. An inmate named Old Blue suddenly got his release papers. He'd been here, always charming. He was about to leave, great news, but 50 years in prison made him reluctant to go. He really didn't want to go, so he resorted to some extreme measures to stay. After a heartfelt chat, he finally put down the knife. Everyone was utterly perplexed. How could anyone want to stay in prison? They were all eager to get out as soon as possible. Red chimed in, saying he could only find belonging here. In Shawshank, he was a big deal. Outside, he was just a nobody. Outside, he was just an old man with a fading past. No one cared who he was. Talk about a societal tragedy. Really? That sounded just like something Brooks would say. Soon, the day came for Old Blue to leave prison. He let go of the raven head raised with such care, granting it freedom, and in doing so, also tasted his own liberation. The other inmates respected him, shaking hands warmly as they bid farewell. Walking the bustling streets, Old Blue looked utterly bewildered. Had been disconnected from society for so long, the outside world felt alien to him. 50 years ago, had seen just one car. Now, they were everywhere. The prison set him up with a temporary place to stay, and a job packing groceries. But Old Blue was too old. He worked slowly and often made mistakes. When customers complained, the manager was all in his face about it, no care for his old age. Out there, he had no friends, no one to talk to. At night, he dreamed he was back in prison. Only in prison did he feel alive, and he even thought about robbing someone just to get back in. But he was too old for that kind of chaos. So he made a bold choice. He carved his name into the eaves with a knife and took the plunge into suicide, ending his tragic story. When his fellow inmates heard the news, they couldn't shake their sorrow for a long time. Especially Red, who had been there for nearly 30 years, pouring his heart into each parole request to show he was a changed man. He promised he wouldn't harm society. Yet, every time, it was a flat-out rejection. One day, the prison suddenly received a sack of books and a $200 grant sent over on Monday. Red, desperate after that failure, snuck a record onto the player while Warden was on the loo. Then he locked the door and cranked up the prison radio. Now all the inmates could vibe to the tunes. Everyone was shocked and tuned in, because previously, it was just Warden's monotonous chatter. Now, it was music. By the time the Warden arrived, Red was chilling in a chair, soaking up the music. At that moment, the inmates felt truly alive. They could finally listen to beautiful music in peace. Faced with the Warden's threats, he shrugged it off and cranked the volume up to max. Talk about a provocation. The captain shattered the glass and kicked the door open, leading to Red spending 2 weeks in solitary. Luckily, he'd done enough for the prison that he wasn't outright killed. Most inmates wouldn't have been so lucky. Finally, on a pivotal day in the year of 1959, his unwavering efforts received their just rewards. The state council realized $200 wouldn't cut it, and agreed to a $500 grant each year for the Soon, the library expanded, providing everyone with the proper reading space. Suddenly, it was packed. That same year, the warden implemented a prison labor reform program. The free labor in prison became hot property for capitalists, all offering cash for inmate labor. Meanwhile, he became her money laundering ace, washing cash clean and stashing it away in different accounts. But he secretly had a brilliant idea. He exploited a legal loophole to create a fake identity. All bank accounts were in this Gus name. This way, he could transform back into himself and withdraw all the cash in a flash. One day in 1965, a new batch of inmates arrived, and one named Tommy stood out the most.